Hey, what's up, everybody? Pat here, great recovering alcoholic and addict, just like every day, guys. Guys, please don't forget to subscribe, leave the video a like, drop me a comment, and by all means share it with someone who might get something out of it. Guys, today we're gonna just continue on with the Just for Today NA meditation because I think this is a really good one and something that I've applied in a big way to my life, and I think it's very, very important, and it's also very effective. It's titled Regular Inventory. Continuing to take a personal inventory means that we form a habit of looking at ourselves, our actions, attitudes, and relationships on a regular basis. Taking a regular inventory is a key element in our new pattern of living. In our addiction, we examine ourselves as little as possible. We weren't happy with how we were living our lives, but we didn't feel we could change the way that we lived. Self-examination we felt would be a painful excuse and exercise in futility. Today, all that is changing. Where we were powerless over our addiction, we have found a power greater than ourselves that has helped us to stop using. Where once we felt lost in life's maze, we've found guidance in the experience of our fellow recovering addicts in our ever improving contact with our higher power. We need not feel trapped by our old destructive patterns. We can choose to live differently. By establishing a regular pattern of taking personal inventory, we give ourselves the opportunity to change anything that isn't working. If we start behavior that causes problems, we can correct it before it becomes a major issue. Where we feel good, we can do more of that too. Just for today, I will make a commitment to include regular inventory in my new lifestyle. Sorry guys, my writing's terrible. I have a hard time reading my own writing. I write this thing out before I do. Anyway, that's huge, and I talk about this is something I've kind of alluded to, and it's why it's funny. I often bring these things up in videos, and then I'll read them in one of these meditations or reflections, and I'm amazed that exactly what they've written is exactly what I found in my own experience. And this one is a big part of why I find myself to be in alignment today, guys. One thing I decided to do was it's something I never did before, and again, that's exactly why. Everything I was doing in my life prior bothered me so much, I didn't want to stop and look at any of it. I didn't want to dwell on any of it, because it just made me feel worse about who I was and what I was doing, and it would just put me in a depressive spiral until I'd get so high I didn't think about it anymore, and then again, just, start over and start over and start over, and it's just a terrible way to live. You don't have to. And the thing of it is, guys, you put down the drugs, that's fantastic, and again, I commend anybody that has. But as you start working a true recovery program, which I like to think I have, and this is what these meditations, lessons, reflections are all about. And this is a very important one because as we take a daily personal inventory, just like it says, like I talk about all the time, I make such better decisions today. I'm happier today. I'm full of hope today. I'm a member of my community today because I make good decisions, because I take good actions, because I treat myself and see myself in a positive light. But I couldn't do any of that until I started to recognize the bad behaviors, the bad decisions, the bad monologue I had with myself, and then start to correct it. And I did so by just constantly scrutinizing it, just being aware of what I was doing, how I was acting, who I was, interacting with, the joy and the happiness and the positivity or the negativity and and the sadness in the interactions that I had. And it's amazing because I started with my relationship with myself and my relationship with my higher power. That immediately, like even when I first came home from rehab, and I was really still very lost and still very confused and still very skeptical and scared, but I was taking a lot more action. I was taking a lot more inventory than I had realized I was, because the second I stepped into any situation that was bringing me back towards an old behavior, I felt it immediately. That's why I ended up quitting my job. And again, that's it's turned out to be a huge godsend. Of course, hindsight being 2020, I didn't know that then. You know what I mean? All I knew was at the time I had this regular source of income that I did make good money at that job. Although when I was actively using, I spent every penny of it on drugs, so it didn't matter. But I was like, I was in huge debt, and I had a lot. I was still digging my way out, and everything on paper made sense just to go to work and do the best I could, right? Because that's all we ever ask from anybody. But I was taking personal inventory. I was being introspective. I was knowing what felt good and what didn't. And the second I'd step into that environment, I knew, I'm like, I can't do this. I can't be here. This is not a good environment for me. And I would have never realized that if it wasn't for the fact that I was stepping up and taking personal inventory and paying attention to how I felt and going for the best thoughts and the best feelings and just being honest with myself and what I needed. I realized that I had to go much, much deeper than just putting down the drugs. I couldn't maintain the lifestyle that I was living. And that's why I think I always ended up relapsing so early on, because it was much more than just a drug problem. It was a lifestyle problem. It was a spiritual problem. I was trying to fill a God-sized hole in my soul with drugs, and no drug is big enough to, to fill that. And I'm very, very fortunate that I figured that out this time around, and then I acted accordingly, because it's one thing to know something, but it's to actually take the actions required by the knowledge that gets you a result, guys. Faith without work is dead. And it was tough. I mean, it was scary early on. And again, now I'm so incredibly grateful, because every time I made a good decision like that, guys, what it did is it gave me an opportunity to step up. And as I stepped up, I looked at more behaviors and said, okay, where else can I improve? I didn't come out of rehab doing everything I'm doing now. I didn't know about the channel. I hadn't progressed. I was very, very sloppy in my channel early on. I wasn't, a regular member of my home group at, the gratitude group. I wasn't going on speaking commitments. I didn't have the clean time. I didn't have the clarity. I didn't have the health. I didn't have the strength. But because I was paying attention and taking a daily inventory, and that's all it really was, guys, is just paying close attention to my thoughts, and then before I reacted to my stimuli, my thoughts, I digested it and thought about it and said, all right, well, what's going to happen if I continue to do this? Okay, well, what do I have to do to change that? Well, I gotta admit to this, and I gotta tell this person that, and every time, no matter how uncomfortable it was, I did that. And then, again, it may not seem like, to those of you that haven't lived a, crazy, lie-filled shitstorm of a life, that may seem like normal behavior. But to those of us that ran that gamut of hardcore addiction and just the shitstorm misery that comes with it, self-deprecating and lying to yourself and, learning to ignore everything, like, these are all new things, right? They're amazingly, powerful new things, but they're still new, and they're hard to adopt when you're used to everything being the opposite of that. But guys, because I knew I had to make changes and I didn't want to go back, and that's one thing, guys, I can honestly say. And again, I'll never say no, I can never go back, because you don't ever want to tempt fate. I know so long as and that's the thing, I don't want to fool myself today, so I know that I can very easily go backwards if I stop working my program. But that's why I continue to step up and do things every single day. That's why I don't get out of bed before I get on my knees and say my prayers. I mean, I get up and use the bathroom, but then I get in and say my prayers before I look at my phone, before I take my morning vitamins. And I've got a whole routine now, guys. And the thing is, things continue to get better because I continue to add things to my routine as I go. I've when I was in addiction, I would go, it was disgusting. It was just disgusting human being. I'd go days and days and days without showering and thinking that was okay. Like, it's gross, right? Now I take a shower every night before I go to bed, and then first thing in the morning I get up and I wash my face, brush my teeth, put on deodorant, and then I get a whole skincare. I just spent like $300 on men's skincare products, and honestly, I see the difference, and I love the fact that I have. It was before I had that thing on my eye cut out. I looked at one of my earlier videos the other day, and I'm like, wow, that's right. And my eyes were still really sunk into my head. Like, I'm no model, but I look so much healthier today, and I actually enjoy looking at myself in the mirror because I love the person that I'm becoming. But none of it was just that one step. It's been a culmination of continuing to look at everything every day, and I still do, guys. I'm still learning things all the time. I'm still taking leaps of faith all the time. I'm still progressing and expanding because, I was a 52-year-old, 51 at the time, I was a 51-year-old man-child. I didn't know how to be an adult, or I'd learned a lot over the years, but I wasn't applying all of it to my life, and that's what I do today, guys. all these things that I used to think I had an exclusion from or didn't apply to me, because I had every excuse in the book. Oh, my record precludes me from this, and I can never do that, so I don't have to do this. No, that's just all excuses for not being willing to put in the work. And today, I don't have to let any of that apply. I drive respectfully. I respect other people on the road. Like, I try not to have road rage. I try to be, uplifting of people. I say hi to people and say, just everything, guys. It's a combination of everything. And the beauty of it is, guys, because I'm constantly taking an inventory, and I still, guys, don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. I'm not up here trying to say I am. I'm literally sharing the lessons that I learn on a daily basis with others, and hoping that they may help you as well. But the thing of it is, I'm doing enough of it now that I catch it very, very early on before it causes havoc in my life. Because when I step out of line, I can feel it, because I'm challenging myself. And guys, and these aren't things I say, these are things I do. I would never get online and ask you to do something I don't do fully in my own life. That's hypocritical, and that's one thing I can't be today, is I can't be a hypocrite. Because if I do it, believe me, guys, I'm harder on myself than anybody else will ever be, because it has been a huge, huge undertaking for me to be able to love myself enough, to respect myself enough to get on here and do these videos. It's something that means the world to me, and I couldn't get on here and lie to you guys, and I couldn't get on here and preach something and then not do it throughout my life. And again, I still make mistakes, but today, when I make those mistakes, I do whatever it takes to rectify them, because I know what the consequence of not is going backwards. And if I start slipping a little bit, that scares the hell out of me, because not only will I lose everything that I'm gaining, and I actually am gaining enough in my life that I'm willing to fight for it today. I love my life today. I will fight tooth and nail to maintain this. But I'm not taking anything away from anybody else. So the only person I have to fight is my own, my own bad behaviors, my own broken thinking. And that doesn't apply so long as I continue to turn my will over to my higher power, whom I choose to call God. And I do that every morning. I've got a whole bunch of prayers and meditations that I do daily, and it probably 4 or 5 times throughout that, it is reminding myself. And that's the other thing, guys, you gotta understand. Reminding myself that I'm turning my will over, that I'm asking my higher power to show me His will for me. I'm sorry, I get these ideas and I don't finish my statement sometimes, trying to rectify that. And there you go. That's a prime example. That's a matter of me watching my videos and catching myself doing these things, saying, oh shit, I got off topic and never went back to that. So I try to improve upon that, guys. Everything in life is a progression if you're paying attention and you're taking inventory. And that's just one form of inventory. So I'll share that with you guys. I don't know how to edit videos. Like, I'm not a real software savvy guy. So what I do is I download these videos, and then I upload it, and then I watch it. And I see, so you guys get a raw, unedited version. Maybe as I progress, I'll get better at it. But, for the time being, this is what I'm doing. And I'm not doing something for the entertainment value. This is for the authenticity value, guys. I'm trying to share lessons and just my story and my strength and my hopes, and hope that somebody gets something out of it. So I think it is important to give it authentic, and I think whatever mistakes I make in editing, I think you guys can understand that, and at least you're getting it real and not scripted and not some bullshit story, because that's to me, that's what's most important. And I'm good on that one. Anyway, I get off topic. You guys got to be used to that by now. But yeah, guys, taking a personal inventory is something everybody should do, because, guys, here's the thing. I truly believe, and again, I can only speak for myself, and I can't make anybody else do anything, but I know that everything in my life is getting better and better as a direct result of the actions that I'm taking. And I can't change actions that I'm not willing to look at. And that's the thing, guys. I was never willing to look at them because I was so horrified by everything. Like, there was so many, and the guys, I wanted better so badly for so long. It was terrible. I'd work hard enough that I get these opportunities, and every time I have, an opportunity presented to me, I knew I couldn't do it, or if I even tried to, it was going to fall apart, because I was always, Jesus Christ, knocked me over. I was always chained to a substance that precluded me from being able to do anything long term. I'd make promises to myself, and then, It's funny. I like it. Just I couldn't. I would have to just disengage from everything because every time I did, at some point, it would dawn on me why I couldn't do the things I wanted to do, and it always came back to the same things, directly or indirectly. It was the drugs. I was addicted to heroin, fentanyl, and after it was starting to come to an end, I started smoking crack around the clock because even the fentanyl and heroin wasn't enough to. I was starting to think. I was starting to pray. So I was starting to get these intuitions that I had to stop, and I was terrified. I didn't know how to do it. But again, God gave me the strength because I turned my will over to Him. And then everything that came from that was just the beginning. Then again, it was funny because I was trying to figure things out, and I just kept getting the same things. Just turn your will over and don't worry about it because it's going to be better than you could. Guys, I could never have got myself to the point that I'm at right now had I tried to fill in all the blanks from day one, and I still don't now because I want to go bigger and better than it is now because I'm still in that growing phase and I'm incredibly grateful for it. So all I got to do is get up every day, be faithful, give thanks, meditate so and my mind is in a quiet and clear and I have some clarity, and I go out and do the absolute best that I can with the things that are put in front of me, and the resources that I'm being a steward of, and I just do the absolute best I can every single day. And I don't be selfish about it. I try to make good decisions for everybody, making sure that I'm being fair and I'm being honesty, guys. Honesty is my new favorite thing, even when it hurts me, because I've learned enough humility that I'm willing to be wrong and I'm willing to be corrected because I'd rather be corrected for being wrong than continue to be wrong and exclude myself from the rewards of being right. Or living right, I should say. It's not about being right, it's about living right. Living clean, as I like to call it. And that's beautiful, guys. Taking a personal inventory is one of the most fastest ways to start making drastic improvements in your life that I've ever encountered. Guys, always remember, God loves you, I love you. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you in the next one.